Insta360 Ace Pro. GoPro should be worried. Yeah, let me just say straight off the bat, this is not strictly a sponsored review or anything, guys. Insta360 did send me this camera, the Ace Pro, and a whole bunch of accessories which I'll unbox at the end of this video if you want to see that. But I'm not required to do like a review or comparison or anything like that. I just, they wanted me to make a whole bunch of shorts using the Ace Pro, which is what I'm doing. But I really wanted to share with you guys some comparison footage and just let you know, what I like about the camera, which is a lot, and a couple of things that aren't so great. But it is definitely a GoPro killer. Since I got my hands on the Ace Pro, I've been trying to figure out whether I should use it as my helmet chin cam or my handheld selfie stick, off the bike camera, because it does both those jobs so well. In the end, what I've done is I've started using the Ace Pro as my helmet cam on the chin mount until I can save up enough money to buy another one, my off the bike stuff, and then I'm going to be getting rid of GoPros and DJIs. The whole lot's going. The Ace Pro is my new huckleberry, and tell you what, if that's not a good recommendation for this camera, I don't know what is. Let's start it off with GoPro's Achilles heel. Of course, the reliability now. GoPro, what can you say? They're up to version 12, they're still not reliable cameras. Even just charging up this Hero 12 Black to come out and do this filming, I plug it into the charger. I think it's charging as per normal. Hours and hours go by, the little red light's still on. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I unplug the charger, the light just stays on red, it's jammed up. If I hadn't already reached my last straw with GoPro a long time ago, that would definitely have been it. Because man, you're waiting and waiting for it. You can't even plug it into a charger without the damn thing locking up. So of course, to clear that, I had to pull the battery out and put it back in, and then it was okay. It wasn't charged, of course. I had to plug it back in and wait. This time it did charge. Just simple things like that GoPros can't even do reliably. Oh man. Right, so what I do is overlay a bit of comparison footage while I mention a few things about the Ace Pro, guys. Okay, so after reliability, video quality, what's the image quality like out of this camera? And I think that the quality itself is on par with the GoPro. Like, I think the GoPros have really nailed the image quality. The Ace Pro is as good. The only thing is it needs a little bit more color grading, because kind of like the DJI cameras, I mean, this is just my personal opinion, guys, the DJI cameras have that purpley kind of biased hue, if you like, tinge. All I do is drag the color sliders in my editing program away from the purple, more towards the yellowy green. You can see here the difference that it makes. To me, it looks more natural the way I have it, more true to life. And it just pops a bit more as well. Apart from the colours not being quite right but easily fixed, the dynamic range on this camera is just, I can't believe it. Like, do this comparison footage with the GoPro, you can still see the shadows in the trees just fine, but the clouds behind, you can actually make out the clouds with the Ace Pro. On the GoPro it just looks like a white mess. So awesome video quality, guys, impressive dynamic range. I also like the stabilization settings on the Ace Pro. You can set it to low in pretty much most modes. I think that's good for on the bike because it's not overly stabilized as with the GoPro's hyper smooth. It just, it gives a little bit of a bump, so it makes it look more realistic without being annoyingly jerky. Again, that's just my opinion, but I like it. I'm not going to bang on, guys, about the stuff that you would have seen in other videos of the Ace Pro, like the awesome flip-up screen. That thing is really good. And of course the magnetic clippy mount at the bottom, whereas GoPro's still got those thumb screws. What can you say? Start innovating, GoPro. So obviously that big flip-up screen on the back of it, guys, makes it perfect for, walking around vlogging. And when you fold that screen down and lock it in, it's just as solid as a GoPro. I saw a few people worried about the robustness of this camera with the flip-up screen, but it's really well built, and as I said, with it folded down, no worries at all. The Ace Pro seems to start up and start recording a lot quicker than the GoPro. I think, like, I've been running the Ace Pro off a power bank on the back of my helmet, as I do with the GoPro. No battery inside it. Once you start doing it this way and not having to change a battery in your camera all day long, I'm telling you, you can't go back. But you know, the Ace Pro will run happily off batteries inside it all day long without any problem. You can even charge it on the go. Seems to work just fine. But so without a battery inside the camera, running it off a power bank on the back of my helmet, it'll actually start recording in around about 3 to 4 seconds after I hit that button. The GoPro takes a few seconds longer, but when you're trying to capture something real quick, a couple of seconds can make all the difference. And another good point is, when you press that button, it does come on and does start recording. With the GoPro, you've got maybe a 70-30 chance that it will actually turn on. The recording LEDs, the flashing lights on this camera, really easy to see on my chin mount, the one on the back. Unfortunately, you can't turn off the front one separately, so you've either got to have them both on or both off. I prefer to have the front one off so that if I'm recording an angry farmer or something he doesn't know, like, he won't see that red light flashing. But yeah, it is nice and easy to see and bright. There's a few little touches on this camera that I really like too. I think with the GoPro, if you set it to 50 Hertz so you don't get that flickering from lights here in Australia. With the GoPro, I have to use 50 frames per second. With the Ace Pro, I can still use 60 frames per second, but set the anti-flicker to 50 Hertz. It's a small thing, but it lets me record in 60 frames per second and not get that flickering from like indoor lights and stuff. The low light stabilization, because this Ace Pro's got the AI chip, it does a really good job of stabilization in low light. The GoPro, of course, even just riding through, you know, pine trees and you know, there's not a lot of sun in there, the stabilization gets a bit flickery and shitty. The Ace Pro, I think, is going to be a lot better. Alrighty, a little bit of low light testing. Yeah, it is late in the day, it's overcast, it is getting dark, so we'll see how the stabilization is a bit if I go jumping over some of these rocks. Now this is with the pure video turned off, so I've just got it in regular filming mode on the Ace Pro. So how I would normally use it. Right, I'll run along here, hopefully not fall over. How's that stabilization? So yeah, from what I've seen, even with, you know, the pure video mode not turned on, the AI does a really good job of stabilization on the Ace Pro in low light. Quite dark in here. Oh, oh. Anyway, one last quick low light test before it actually does get dark. It's, you know, almost dark now. That's hopefully the Ace Pro is doing a better job in this low light. I doubt whether the GoPro would be able to do any stabilization in this light. How's the stabilization? Can you tell? Again, this is without the pure video nighttime mode on the Ace Pro, guys. Alright, it's fully dark. This is how I usually vlog at night, with my head torch pointed at my big schnoz. That there is some kind of bug, and that there is a frog. Alright, so this will be arguably the most interesting stabilization test for the Ace Pro versus the GoPro 12. Low light in the pine trees. So as we all know, with the GoPro, you get in amongst this and, you know, there's quite a lot of tree cover. Not a lot of sunlight gets in here, especially when it's cloudy. The light isn't real good. The GoPro stabilization sort of goes out the window. This section of the video will demonstrate how much better the Insta360 Ace Pro does in these sort of conditions. So Let's go and have a look. I tell you what, having both of these chunky ass cameras on the front of your helmet, it's a fair bit of weight, man. Alright, so this is a test of the pure video mode. This is the really good low light one, guys. You can see behind me there. Look how well that is lit up, man. That's pretty impressive. Oh, it's a pretty dark scene. I'm going to switch back to the regular 4K 60, not the you know, the pure video mode, and you'll see the difference. There you go, that's regular 4K without the pure video mode. Amazing. Like, you know, this thing picks up pretty good low light, you know, without that pure video mode. With it, bloody awesome. There's also the clarity zoom function, which you may have heard about on the Ace Pro. It lets you zoom in 2 times. That's another feature that makes the Ace Pro good for your handheld stuff, because a lot of times, you know, it'd be really handy to zoom in on an animal or whatever. A bike coming up a hill, you can zoom in. The thing is, you lose a couple of seconds of footage when you zoom. So yeah, when you double tap that screen, just be aware that it's not going to be a smooth transition from the zoom out to the zoom in. There will be a bit of a gap there. So I'm going to count fairly quickly, and you'll see that a few numbers or a bit of time is going to be missing from this clip. So I'm going to hit the clarity zoom right in the middle of my counting. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you notice that? I tell you what though, having that zoom, even with that little glitch that happens, is worth it, because, you know, how cool is that? Yeah, I'll zoom back out again while I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. A little bit of lost time there, but very, very cool. I like the door setup on this camera. GoPro, you know, GoPro are cheaping out. They're putting everything behind that one door. So you got your battery, your SD card slot, and your USB port all behind that one door. With the Ace Pro, of course, you got the SD card and charge port on one side and the battery on the other. Now, when you plug in that little micro adapter, which I love, very similar to the old DJI Osmo Action original microphone adapter, just a small little thing that plugs into the USB port, but this one actually clicks into the body of the camera, so it stays in there pretty solid. And of course you can still access the battery door on the other side, so if you want to run this thing off batteries as a normal person would without, you know, not having a power bank, you can easily run the microphone adapter, change out batteries without even having to take anything apart. If you've ever used the GoPro Media mod, yeah, you'll know about that pain. There are also quick switch modes. You can set which modes you use the most frequently, and you just hit that button on the side to switch through them. Very useful feature. So you can also set in the Ace Pro whether you record in H.264 or H.265. 265 of course being more compressed and harder to edit. Now I'm recording in 4K 60 in the H.264 profile, the old compatible profile, and I can actually edit the files on my computer, no worries at all, just like a 1080p file. If I record on the GoPro in the HEVC or H.265 format in 4K, even in 1080p, it's hard to edit. 4K files, forget about it, my computer will just melt. It'll say, nope, drop a poo on the ground and leave the building. The Ace Pro 4K files, easy to edit. Don't know how they managed to do that, but I'll take it. 4K, no worries. The touchscreen on the Ace Pro, very responsive. The menus are easy to navigate. It's not hard to work out. You know, if you want to change a setting, it's very easy to find. I like that. If you have the screen on the Ace Pro set to turn off after 60 seconds, you start recording something, the screen turns off. You tap it to make the screen come back on because you want to frame up what you're shooting. it'll pop up a little box saying, do you want to keep the screen on for the remainder of this recording or whatever, something like that. You tap it and the screen will stay on until you hit the stop button. That's just little features like that. Very handy. Another thing, when you have the screen flipped up like I do at the moment, the screen will, it will actually stay on automatically. So I guess it just assumes that you're framing yourself up in the shot, and so the screen stays on. Just a quick tip on the GoPro, you can actually set a recording duration. So I have the GoPro set to 30 minutes. It's handy for when I'm running off a power bank, because if I forget to turn the camera off, say if I stop somewhere, take my helmet off, put it on the bike and it's still recording, essentially it'll just keep recording until my power bank has depleted or the SD card's filled up, or more likely the GoPro overheats. Not ideal, of course, so if I just have it set to a 30-minute maximum, at least it will turn off after 30 minutes and save a bit of my battery and SD card space. Now you can do that on the Ace Pro as well, but you have to do it in the phone app. I'm not sure why. I haven't been able to find the setting in the camera itself, but if you want to do something like that, the settings in the app. As I said, I have been using the Ace Pro running off the power bank on the back of my helmet. It does that flawlessly. GoPro can be very, very finicky. You've got to have the right cord, you've got to have the right power bank, you've got to put out just the right amount of power. The planets have to be perfectly aligned and then it will turn on. The Ace Pro, plug in a cord, off you go. No worries. The battery life on the Ace Pro is pretty good, like with the internal battery. It's on par probably with the GoPro, maybe a little bit better, but the thing is, it fast charges. Like you plug that thing into a power brick, or like you go to charge up the Ace Pro, it'll be done long before the GoPro's done. So handy. I can't even tell you guys how handy that is, being able to charge this camera up real quick, especially for the handheld stuff where I'm using the internal battery. You want to charge it up, bang, whack it into power for 10 minutes, it'll boost it heaps. Really handy. Now of course the Ace Pro has the gesture controls. You can make it start recording and take photos with all this sort of stuff, and it has voice controls as well. None of that stuff I use, so I'm not going to bother talking about it. There's a couple of other cool little features with the Ace Pro that you may have already heard about, guys. You can actually pause and resume recording in the middle of a clip. So not something that I'll do a lot, especially with the helmet cam, but with the handheld stuff, if you want to pause a recording, you set that little pause button on the screen and it will actually stop recording, and then you can resume it again later on. And apparently you can also go into a previously recorded clip and resume that clip as well, like add bits onto other clips that you've already done, which is pretty cool. And there's also a setting in the camera where you can set it so that if you're recording and then you hold down the shutter button while you're recording, you can actually cancel the recording of the current clip. So say if you're waiting for someone to do something, your camera's rolling, it doesn't end up happening, you want to stop the recording and just delete that clip, you just hold down that shutter button and it will cancel the recording and delete that clip rather than having to go in and do it separately. So yeah, a lot of cool little features with this camera. Insta360 also sent me the GPS preview remote. I'll show you guys that quickly. Pretty handy if you own a situation where that would be useful to you. It hooks up to the camera really fast. You can completely control the camera with it. Really nice little device and worth the spend if it would be useful to you. Okay, so as close as the Ace Pro is to perfect, in my opinion anyway, there is no such thing as perfection, right? There's a couple of little things that I thought were worth mentioning about the Ace Pro that I'm not a big fan of. The first one, and this is the biggest thing, right, and you can tell that it really doesn't have a lot of problems based on the fact that this is my biggest issue with it. And that issue is that you cannot transfer the files off the Ace Pro through the microphone adapter. So I know Damon wanted to know about transferring files onto your phone off the Ace Pro. I have done that once, it was really quick, no worries with that. Generally I'm plugging the camera into a Windows computer with a USB cord. Unfortunately I have to pull out the microphone adapter. Not a big problem, it's a small thing guys, but that mic adapter is pretty hard to get out, and I feel like it's only going to get sloppier the more you have to take it out, plug it back in. Like, it's a small trade-off guys. You know what a pain in the arse it is to get the SD card out of a GoPro with the media mod. But to be honest, If they could make the file transfer work through that microphone adapter the way it does through the media mod and the mic adapter on the GoPro, that would just about make the Ace Pro as close to perfect as I could possibly want. Another small gripe is how far out the microphone adapter sticks on the camera, like it protrudes a fair way out to the side. Not a big problem in a lot of situations, but I feel like on a helmet chin mount especially, you got it hanging out the side a bit. It would have been awesome if they had to put the ports on the back of the adapter, so the adapter comes out the side. The 3.5mm audio jack and the USB-C on the back of the adapter would have been perfect. Again, not a big deal. I've sort of minimised this by getting some right angled adapters for my plugs. The other elephant in the room. The lens cover is not replaceable on the Ace Pro. The GoPro, if you crack that lens cover, you can flip it off, get a new one, whack it on. Ace Pro is not removable, however they will fix it within 12 months of you purchasing the camera. They will fix it for free. That can be a huge problem, but to be honest, you know what, I haven't ever broken a GoPro lens cover yet. In all the time I've been riding, following bikes really closely. My GoPro 10 has a few little scratches on the lens, but they don't affect the recording. You know, they're not right in the middle of the lens. So either I've been lucky or it's really not that common that you break the lens. Now, I have you can stick on a glass, you know, tempered glass screen protector. I'll put one of those on the lens of the Ace Pro. Hopefully that'll at least protect it from getting scratched. If it gets a big rock, you know, it's going to break probably. Would have been good if they had just made a replaceable lens cover, but anyway, it is what it is. The Ace Pro with the external microphone inside my helmet, even with it in the same spot that I use it for the GoPro, seems to pick up more wind noise. I'm not sure if GoPro have some inbuilt wind noise reduction with their microphone adapter or the media mod. Don't get me wrong, it's perfectly usable audio in my opinion, just not quite as good as the GoPro. Alrighty, just posting some stickers to Jim in Scunthorpe in the UK. Thanks Jim. Alright, so a quick audio test with the Insta360 Ace Pro. Have the external mic inside the helmet, the little mic adapter. We're doing about 60 kilometers an hour with the visor up on the helmet. Close that now. That's with the visor closed on the helmet. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. I am of course running the Purple Panda microphone as per usual. So yeah, we're recording in the 4K 60 at the moment with the Action X, you know, the widest field of view. They are just spiders and they don't really bite you. They're usually keen to get away from you, but it's their bloody webs that annoy the crap out of me. They get all over your helmet and all over your bike, and they're sticky, horrible things. Okay, so if you couldn't tell, I really dig this Ace Pro camera, guys. It's what I've been waiting for, basically. Very glad in the end that Insta360 decided to reach out to me and send me one, because, you know, spending that $729 is a bit of a gamble, especially if you don't know if it's going to suit you. But I'm telling you guys, if you do what I do, ride around with a camera on your helmet, this is the one to get. Okay, so in a nutshell, why is the Ace Pro a GoPro killer in my opinion? If I could sum it up in one sentence, I would say that finally we have a camera with the image quality and almost the audio quality of a GoPro in a package with a whole bunch more awesome features, and a package that's also reliable, turns on when you want it to, doesn't jam up. I have not had this camera jam up on me yet. That is a long sentence, but basically that's it in a nutshell, guys. A reliable camera that's just as good as the GoPro in every way, better in a lot of ways, and you know, it's fairly expensive, I'm not going to lie, but you know, it's worth it if you want the best that's out there at the moment, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, but you know, I've used a whole lot of different action cameras, guys, and the Ace Pro is by far by far and away the best that I've ever used. I can't wait to see what Insta360 do with the Ace Pro version 2, if that's going to be a thing. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you got something useful out of this video. If you are interested in checking out the Ace Pro, please use the link in the description. And with that said, thanks once again for watching. Please hit subscribe if you haven't yet, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the Ace Pro, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Just look at this swag of stuff I've gotten from Insta360, guys. I am like a thick kid in a candy shop right now. Now, I'm not going to unbox everything here right now, but we will have a look at the main things. But firstly, I'll just show you exactly what they've sent me. Obviously, we've got the Insta360 Ace Pro camera itself. Awesome. We've got some ND filters, the vertical mounting L bracket, battery charging hub, and 2 spare batteries, so that's 3 batteries in total. We've got the all-important microphone adapter, the helmet chin mount, don't know how that's going to go, but we'll check it out. The awesome GPS remote preview thing, the motorcycle bundle, I'm not exactly sure what's in there, but we'll find out. And the mini 2-in-1 tripod, that was one thing that I did ask for because I like it. Alright, let's unbox the camera. Who doesn't love unwrapping new stuff? Very cool. Oh, get rid of this crap. Very, very cool. Now, do we have a battery inside already? Yes, we do. What else have we got in here? Silica gel, little treat for later. Instructions by the 1000. Famous magnetic mount goes on the bottom there. Got a sticky flat mount, won't be using that, and a USB-C to USB-C charging cable. Cool. Okay, first power on. Language. Please download the Insta360 app in the App Store. Okay, so we have to activate the camera, of course. Okay, app downloaded, camera activated. I've got to be honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of having to activate cameras and stuff, but you know, it seems to be what they're all doing these days, so it is what it is. And I tell you what, man, that app is huge, 465 megabytes. But I'll give them a pass on that since it's got a whole bunch of cool editing features in it. So yeah, also had to download an updated firmware, which is all good. Let's check out this flippy screen, eh? Oh, very nice. Very nice. It actually sort of clicks into place up top there, and of course clicks in at the bottom. You got to press these buttons on the side to flip it up. Just quickly, another thing I forgot to mention that was in the box is a 128 gig
SD card, pretty cool. All right, I want to quickly have a look at what's in the motorcycle bundle. Woohoo. Okay, instructions, screen wipes, it's like a bit of sticky something or other, sticky pad. A couple more of these stick-on mounts. Looks like a handlebar clamp. It's pretty solid, that. A tripod to GoPro style thingy adapter on the opposite. A couple of thumb screws there. Looks like one of those wrenches for tightening up the screw, maybe. And an Allen key. Okay. I'm going to just quickly throw these spare batteries on charge, so I've got a bit of extra power to play with. Holy moly, that much instructions for a battery. Oh nice, they do come in a little case, that's awesome. And of course the charging hub. Nice. Okay, USB-C to USB-C. Plug that into my Jackery over here and get them charging. Would have been nice to see a closing case, or a bit more of a enclosed style charging case, because when you got that flopping around in your tank bag or whatever, you don't want these batteries popping out when you're trying to charge them. But you can just put like an elastic band or something around. Alright, looks like we're charging. Now the other main things I wanted to show you guys are the microphone adapter, which I've seen this thing and man, it looks cool if we can get it unwrapped. So look at the size of that thing, and from what I've seen, it actually just clips straight in the side of the camera. You can remove the door here, plug it in there, and it actually clips into place solidly. Oh, GoPro, you could learn a thing or two. Look at that. Okay, and now we've got the GPS live view remote thingy. Woohoo! Nice. Get rid of that. Everything's going flying. What do we got here? I'll have to suss all that out later on. Alright, so that's your wristwatch thingy. Whack that in there to wear it on your wrist. In this other bag we've got the handlebar little mount, so you obviously whack it in there and put that on your handlebars. So we've got another box in here. What have we got? Okay, USB-A charge cord this time. And so obviously the device sits on there. Oh yeah, nice magnetic snap to charge him up. Bloody lovely. Now I will quickly show you guys this little tripod selfie stick thing, because I did specifically ask for this. Very nice. So what is that? Don't make me read the instructions, Insta360. Alright, so apparently these are locking levers, so you don't actually use a thumb screw for this. Just shove that in there once it's lined up. Alright, so I finally figured out how to work this thing. I am the brains. Alright, so you stick it in, it only goes in one way. You can't sort of stick it in that way. It's got to go that way, turn it around so it's upright, push down, and that's locked. So obviously we can do that with the camera itself instead of that. Pop him in there. Oh mate, it's actually nice and tight. Well, it's not real tight, but good enough. And we can extend the legs, pop it out. I like how that doesn't have to hang down. I've had tripods before that hang down. It's hard to put them on an uneven surface, so that's pretty good. And oh, that's actually pretty high. Not bad. Yeah, I like that. My new main little handheld tripod. Excellent, excellent. And that'll fit in my tank bag just nice.